Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Will Joseph Parker get his title shot? It's pretty hard to argue that he doesn't deserve it after his recent victory over Martin Bakole and the preceding wins over Zhang Zhilei and also Deontay Wilder, fights he wasn't necessarily expected to win, but he did. And now he's stopped Bakole, and he's spoken about world title next, and you can see this on screen from a Box Nation interview. After the fight, he says he wants a title fight. And when Bakole came in because Dubois was sick, obviously that meant Dubois out, no IBF title shot, which even at that stage, no qualms from anyone that he deserved that title shot. But now Dubois and Frank Warren, what's going to happen? Because obviously the speculation from boxing fans is it could be a done deal for Usyk versus Dubois. Maybe Usyk will want to chase that legacy of becoming undisputed again to reunite all four belts. But I guess, a question becomes of fairness as well, because Dubois was just days away from a fight with Parker. Parker was only in there for a couple of rounds. Dubois, presumably, is over the illness. Could this not be rescheduled for a couple of months' time? Legitimate question. Alexander Usyk may not be ready to fight till towards the end of the year. He has signaled that he's got a couple of fights left in his career, and he's not exactly on a clock, but he's spoken about the next couple of years that his career will be over, and 2 fights, that will be the maximum that he will have while he's still here. So with that win, you can see here Parker's resume of late. Bakole, Zhang, Wilder. It's a pretty impressive run. And especially considering, he's done far more in the past 18 months or so than he ever did to get the first title shot back at the end of 2016. But as I always say, heavyweight division can sometimes be about timing and opportunity. At that stage, the belt scattered. Parker and Andy Ruiz Jr. were Johnny on the spot. They had a title shot for the WBO title, which Parker won in a closely contested fight. But you have to remember with this whole situation that Parker is technically part of the Queensberry stable. So while people are saying that Frank Warren's going to look after Daniel Dubois, etc., does he also not have some sort of obligation and duty of care to Parker? So you have, this is from the Queensberry website here, the boxes, and this kind of gives like a bit of a indicative pecking order, actually. It's no surprise that Dubois is, and has been promoted by Warren for a number of years and has been a bit of a favourite. Even after his losses, Frank Warren continued to put time, effort and investment into him, and it's paid off. But Parker, arguably he is not to be denied in terms of what he's done recently, and there's a strong case for, just in terms of fairness, to say, they should just reschedule this. Could they not have it in 2 or 3 months' time? I'm sure they could, but the question is, will they? And the other guy, Agit Kabayel, I wasn't aware that he had some sort of promotional tie-up with Frank Warren, so that's news to me to some extent, but regardless, and maybe this is because of the Riyadh season cards, technically he's with Warren for whatever the duration of the deals for the cards are, in terms of whatever has been sort of structured part of their deal, I should say, if it's 1, 2, 3, 4 fights, etc. So they are under the Queensberry banner. So Parker, does he not also deserve, a shot versus Dubois and some consideration from Frank Warren? And Kabayel, he also, behind Parker, is probably the next deserving guy for a title shot. And I actually just did a video on Kabayel on Patreon. He's been pro for 14 years. I don't think people realise that. Turned over when he was like 18. Similar to Parker, really long career. People don't realise as well how long Kabayel has been pro. But what he's done lately is also very worthy of a title shot. But the rest of the Queensberry stable, very impressive, very deep. A lot of sort of succession planning going on as well. A number of younger heavyweights are on the books. A couple of prospects are recently signed as well, you can see here. So you have a situation where could Parker also face Usyk? Could Usyk go, well, actually, I don't have an obligation to fight Daniel Dubois. I've already fought him. I want a fresh fight. I'll fight Parker directly. That could be a scenario, because the situation with mandatories and who's next out of, either Usyk's 3 belts or Daniel Dubois' belts, seemingly nothing is on the table and ordered at this point. So there could be scope for Usyk to just go, well, Frank Warren might want Daniel Dubois, but should I just make it with Joseph Parker? Because ultimately that's a fresh fight. And I think for a lot of fans, including myself, and you can see here from this tweet, fresh fight. So yeah, it would be great. That's what I said just a day or two ago. And the Ring magazine, which Turki Alalshihk owns, had obviously put up this post and got a lot of different feedback from people about the potential of, sorry, that was people responding to my tweet, but they got quite a bit of feedback. I'll click into this anyway so we can see here. So people are saying Parker, Caballero, Dubois, Parker, Usyk, Dubois, Caballero. I mean, I think the thing is there's a big mix and matching of what you could do. But I think Usyk, he also has a bit of say and sway, because he doesn't necessarily have to bend to the will of Frank Warren. If Turkey wants it, Dubois and Usyk, the rematch, well, it probably happens because there'll probably be a bit more money on the table. But with Parker having delivered such a performance against Bakole, maybe he's in the good books of Turkey now. Maybe Turkey will go, okay, Usyk Parker, I really like that as a main event. I mean, could it not be that they have that fight and Dubois faces the winner? At the end of the day, we've already had Dubois and Usyk. A little bit of controversy there with the low blow or on the belt situation that was ruled a foul, etc. But we have seen that fight. And I think people forget how that fight ended. A lot of people were saying after that Dubois quit late in that fight, that he didn't want it, that Usyk had beaten the sort of stuffing out of him and the resilience from him. He did end up, getting stopped in that one. Was it 9th or 10th round? So, I mean, a question, do we need to or want to see it again over other potential options that exist? Caballero, Usyk, Parker, Usyk, but I don't think you can sort of, and the irony, and I wanted to note this, is remembering Joseph Parker beat Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker beat Zhang Jilei, Joseph Parker beat Martin Bakole. All of those guys ended up, apart from Bakole, Zhang and Wilder ended up being in the ring despite losing against Parker before Parker. And now it looks like with Turkey saying that he wants Bakole back in the ring in May, that this trend and theme will continue. That Bakole, despite losing to Parker, will be back in the ring before him. I mean, there's a sense of irony in that sort of Parker wins, but he loses at the same time. So he takes on, and people forget this, he took on Bakole also at short notice, and he rolled the dice with that one. He accepted the risk. He wins, and there is no title shot because Dubois pulled out. And now it looks like Frank Warren and Daniel Dubois may try to go direct to Usyk. So, there's a bit of a question of fairness and justice potentially that, will this be addressed by Big Turkey? I think Parker Usyk, Parker Dubois, either or, I don't care. But I think Joseph Parker, off what he's done, and, he's really resurrected his career on Riyadh season. Wouldn't it be a bit of a fairy tale story after the lows of getting stopped by Joe Joyce and then having a real stinker against Jack Massey to just a couple of years later pull off the string of wins and then potentially go on to have a title shot and win a title and become champion for a second time? It does kind of feel like the sort of makings of a movie script. But I think Parker has done what he needed to do. He showed up and showed out against Martin Bakole, and Bakole took the risk on with no training camp, and he was unprepared clearly, but that was on him for taking the fight. Seemingly, he will get rewarded by Turki Alalshihk. Will Joseph Parker similarly be rewarded, and will he get a title shot? Hard to argue that he doesn't deserve it. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.